iranische Führung auf.
We condemn in the strongest possible terms the violence that the leadership in Tehran is directing against its own people. This violence is not a sign of strength, but rather a sign of weakness. The violence must end.
Amid rising tensions and Donald Trump's open threats of a possible military intervention in Iran, questions are now being raised about whether European nations might also be preparing to participate in an attack. German Chancellor Friedrich Merz has declared that Iran's ruling regime was living out its last days, suggesting that its downfall could be much closer than the world expects. Merz's bold statement came during his two-day visit to India, where he addressed a gathering in the southern tech hub of Bengaluru, drawing international attention. Pressure continues to mount on the Khamenei-led regime in Tehran, as violent protests across the nation refuse to fade and instead grow stronger with each passing day. The German Chancellor said, quote, "When a regime can only hold on to power through violence, then it is effectively finished. I believe that we are now witnessing the last days and weeks of this regime," unquote. On January 12, the German Chancellor made a powerful remark about the situation in Iran, sparking debate among global leaders and strategic analysts alike.
I call on the Iranian leadership to protect its people instead of threatening them. We condemn in the strongest possible terms the violence that the leadership in Tehran is directing against its own people. This violence is not a sign of strength, but rather a sign of weakness. The violence must end. For 2 weeks now, we have seen more and more people from all walks of life taking to the streets across the country. They are demonstrating peacefully for freedom and for a better life in their country. And that is not only their right. These people deserve the utmost respect for their courage in resisting the disproportionate, brutal violence of the Iranian security forces.
His statement coincided with a new U.S. travel advisory warning its citizens in Iran, signaling that Western nations are increasingly bracing for unrest in the region. With protests intensifying across major Iranian cities, the United States government has urged its citizens to immediately leave the country for their own safety. Those unable to flee have been advised to locate secure shelters, gather essential supplies, and prepare for the possibility of extended instability. In a surprising move, the U.S. State Department even cautioned American citizens not to depend on any government rescue efforts should the situation spiral out of control. The U.S. State Department statement said, quote, "Protests across Iran are escalating and may turn violent, resulting in arrests and injuries. Increased security measures, road closures, public transportation disruptions, and internet blockages are ongoing. The government of Iran has restricted access to mobile, landline, and national internet networks. Airlines continue to limit or cancel flights to and from Iran, with several suspending service until Friday, January 16th. U.S. citizens should expect continued internet outages, plan alternative means of communication, and, if safe to do so, consider departing Iran by land to Armenia or Turkey. Leave Iran now. Have a plan for departing Iran that does not rely on U.S. government help," unquote. Despite reports that many U.S. military officials oppose direct action, insiders claim that Donald Trump remains determined to authorize a strike against the Iranian government. On January 10th, Trump hinted during a press conference that the United States might soon do something about the ongoing anti-regime protests shaking Iran. He asserted that America stands ready to support the Iranian people who are bravely taking to the streets against Ayatollah Khamenei's rule. 2 days later, on January 12th, Trump announced a sweeping 25% tariff on any country that continues to conduct business with the Iranian regime. Reports suggest that a brutal crackdown on protesters has already claimed the lives of more than 600 people, painting a grim picture of Iran's internal crisis. The protests, initially ignited by shopkeepers and students, have now evolved into a nationwide movement demanding change amid a collapsing economy. It all began on December 28, when frustrated traders flooded the streets to protest the dramatic fall of the national currency, the Iranian rial. Over the past year, the rial has plunged to record lows, while inflation has soared beyond 40%, devastating purchasing power across the country. Many are calling this uprising the most serious threat to Iran's clerical establishment since the 1979 Islamic Revolution that reshaped the nation's politics. In response, after 2 weeks of continuous demonstrations, government supporters marched through Tehran accusing foreign powers of orchestrating the unrest.